they could never fight each other, so you would never really know. Like, I would have loved to see him fight Hagler. I would love to see him fight Hearns or Sugar Ray.
Nah, I think Sugar Ray would have beat Floyd's ass.
That's the thing. The thing we won't know, because how would Sugar Ray have touched him? None of those boxers. The only person I believe would have gave Floyd Mayweather a real, real good fight was the Hitman Hearns.
Okay.
Because of his style. He came at you and he was unorthodox and he was fast, he was strong, and he was tall and big. So, to me, Hitman Hearns would have gave Floyd Mayweather, I think that was probably the only boxer that I feel would have beat him. I think Hagler would have not been able to touch him. He probably would have been too slow. And I think Sugar Ray Leonard, he would have probably did the boring stuff like what you say to him.
Okay, so do you feel that a lot of people said when he fought Pacquiao, they said he put him off because he strategically didn't want to fight him when Pacquiao was in his prime?
No, I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe that?
I believe Pacquiao was juicing, and he asked him to take a test, and he didn't want. If you're a boxer and you say, I'm gonna put in USADA rules, which is United States Doping Agency rules, and they decline it, then I'm not fighting you. You know, that's the proof right there. It was like when Pacquiao needed the money and then he decided to take the blood test. Look how he lost. And then all of a sudden, your shoulder gets messed up. That's all the signs of doping.
Wait, so you thought he was still doping even when they fought?
No. When you get off the dope, your body breaks down. So he couldn't dope that fight, and all of a sudden he has an injury that he's never had before. Man, and then he didn't. I mean, it's the truth. He didn't. He had a shoulder injury supposedly.
He did.
But, okay, but the thing is, this guy has never been hurt before he fought a fight. So now you have to take blood tests and you get in the ring and now you're hurt and you can't fight the way you normally fight. He wasn't hunting Mayweather. He wasn't throwing power punches. He wasn't throwing off-balance punches like he usually do. His whole game plan was off. So that's a testament to Mayweather. He can.
You think he was just trying to get paid? You think Pacquiao was just trying to get paid?
Of course. He knew he couldn't beat Floyd Mayweather.
Yo, I can't believe you think Floyd Mayweather can't be beat, yeah.
He hasn't. Hold up. He hasn't been beat. It's not what I think. He hasn't been beat.
Yeah, I'm a hater, yeah. You just made me realize I just really just said that. I just said,
yeah,
you're acting like he can't be beat, and he has not been beat. That's terrible.
He beat Canelo Alvarez. That was an exciting fight. He beat him.
Do you think it's his mindset? Is it his mind?
Of everything is your mindset. Everything in life, how we operate in life is our mindset. Our mindset, attitude determines altitude. How far you're going to go in life determines how your mindset and your attitude is.
So if he goes into fight, you see the buzz that's going on online. I see it.
MMA?
Yeah, about the MMA. You think he's going to go in there?
That's not his thing. It would have. I think MMA is leaning towards WWE.
Come on, you.
They are because they losing money. They sold MMA. They sold the UFC for $4 billion. The
Dana
Conor,
White?
They sold it for $4 billion. They've been sold it. So.
Wait, so why is Dana White still on the front?
Because when you have a company, it's just let me explain something. When you have a company and you sell it and it's a successful company, the people who buy it will pay you to run the company to usher in the new buyers because they're not familiar with running the company. Just like with Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, when they sold Beats, they still work for Apple.
Okay.
Because they built this brand, so now You have to usher us into how to run the company, in which y'all made it successful. So that's how things work. It's
but why
like,
do you think the MMA would be the WWE? That's like absurd.
No, I said they will lean towards that style because it's they sold it for $4 billion. Connor's boxing now. Their biggest star, their two biggest stars, Ronda Rousey retired. She went to WWE. Conor McGregor went to boxing. So now they need to create a law to bring the fans back, because the people who purchased it, they have to make their money back. So if Floyd Mayweather goes into MMA, I would lean to believe it has to be with some type of WWE constraints, because he definitely can't fight MMA.
So what do you, and when you say it's leaning towards WWE, are you saying like as far as the scripting?
It's going to be scripted. Some of it's going to be not so real. And some of it, I believe that's where they lean into. I could be wrong, but when the way Floyd Mayweather, what Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor did was a WWE style in boxing.
It was.
You see what I'm saying? And then the type of money that they made, Dana White ain't stupid, so he figured, hey, let's lean towards that. And the investors in MMA would go along with it, because everything is they're profit based. That's all they want is a profit. You just purchased this company for $4 billion. You better see a turnaround.
So they just watering it down, because you remember when it first originated, that's when I didn't want to watch it, because it was blood, there was no rules, no nothing.
Exactly.
So you think they just watering it and now it's really going to get watered down?
It's going to be watered down with some blood.
Okay.
You know, it's going to be extreme WWE. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I see. That's what where the money would be at, because that's something new.
Dang. Floyd will get you paid too.
Floyd will get you paid.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. So if he's going in that octagon, he's not going to get hurt. He didn't fight for 22 years in boxing and didn't get hit just to say, I'm 41, 42. Now I'm going to go take kicks to the head. He's not stupid.
So how do you think the fans of UMA or MMA and UFC are going to take that? You think they'll take a few hits, but then they'll end up on top once the smoke clears? Or you think they're going to lose that whole fan base?
Oh, no. If it turns more into a soap opera, you're going to get more kids. And then the fan base is going to grow. Because when you have kids, then you have their parents. They have to take them to the venues. Then you could start making dolls and toys and merchandise. It just gets bigger and bigger.
I never thought about that. That's actually really good. I also wanted to ask you I wanted to switch gears just for a moment to go into this.
Nothing's off limits.
Yeah, nothing's off limits, man. I wanted to ask you about this music thing. There was a big debate going on social media that I saw last week, and they were talking about who had the better run as a group. And it was Outkast, it was the Lox, it was G-Unit, and it was Dipset. Who, in your opinion, had the greatest run as a group?
Oh, that's I might be biased on that.
I know you biased. I know.
But I have some facts to back it up, though.
Wait, so you saying Dipset then?
It has to be Dipset. It has to be Dipset. G-Unit.
Now, you heard the question.
You said the biggest run, right?
The biggest run.
Okay, now I'm going to break it down to you, right? In my personal opinion, Outkast is the best group as far as lyrically hip-hop. If just the origins of hip-hop, Outkast is the best group. But it's only two of them. I like Andre 3000 better than Big Boy. To me, Big Boy is Andre is dope. Okay? So one cancels the other one out. But they're a group. They came from the South. They put on the whole city, and they started a culture. They started a movement. So they're up there. To me, lyrically, they good. But I would just say they earned a spot in history.
Okay.
G-Unit had the biggest run because they had the biggest artists. If you really look at it, it's really only 50 Cent. The Game sold a couple records, but he was out after one album. Mm-hmm. Lloyd Banks never got that big. Tony Yayo isn't really not that big. And Young Buck, he had a tumultuous career. He never really got off the ground, and he was talented. There's no disrespect to none of them, but none of them took off like 50 Cent did.
Right.
Now, you can say that for the Lox. The Lox have a lot of good feature songs featured with other artists. If you think about it, they got a lot of songs with DMX, a lot of songs with Puff, a lot of songs with Biggie, a lot of songs with Jay-Z. You see what I'm trying to say? The Lox doesn't have a catalog of their own that can surpass. What? They have a catalog. I'm talking about as a group.
Yo, are you kidding? Wait,
the first album to me.
Don't say it.
That was the only good album. Jadakiss doesn't have a classic album. No, he doesn't. I'm sorry. Jadakiss is he's nice on features and all that. Jadakiss only have one. That's that song. Why? That's the name of it.
Yo, are you serious right now?
Oh, I'm very serious. He doesn't have a classic album. Tell me if does Jadakiss and the Lox have an album that's in the top 25?
As a group or individually?
Any way you want to put it.
You're wilding.
How am I wilding? Now, hold up. You asked me a question. I'm giving you my honest opinion. I don't believe Jadakiss has a classic album.
Oh my God.
He has an album with 5 good songs. He has very good verses, but a classic album like what Jay-Z has, what Nas has, what Biggie has, what Tupac has.
Okay, I see.
He doesn't have a classic album.
But they as a group, they have a classic album.
They have that. That's what I said. To me, the first one was a classic album.
What was the second one? We Are the Streets?
It's okay.
Okay?
It wasn't a classic.
You need to listen.
The first one.
You haven't listened.
No. My bar is high. A classic album is a classic album. That means it can be played forever.
Was Mace's first album a classic album?
No. It's decent. Mace don't have classics neither. Yeah, he has classic songs. He doesn't have a classic album. That's a difference. Like Reasonable Doubt is a classic album. It Was Written is a classic album. The Black Album is a classic album. Life After Death is a classic album. Machiavelli is a classic album. Like, those are albums that you can put up against anything. The Chronic.
Have a classic album?
I just told you, Machiavelli.
Okay.
Machiavelli is a classic album. The Chronic is a classic album. Doggy Style is a classic album. Okay. The Jadakiss don't have one of those. I'm sorry. So now when we say groups, now why I say Dipset.
Gangsta and Gentleman Styles P album was actually, it wasn't classic according
It was a very good album.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
so
Styles P
is high.
Styles P is all right.
It's all right.
Jadakiss is, he's good.
Okay.
Jadakiss is phenomenal, but he don't have that classic album under his belt to put him in that top echelon. Like that top 5 Dead or Alive, he's not a top 5 rapper. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No. And Sheek Luch, he's the third real. So now when you go to Dipset, you have to look at it as they actually, all 3 of them, let's just say Cameron, Jim Jones, and Joel Santana, all 3 of them have top Billboard hits under their belt. All of them got classic radio play songs under their belt. All of them reached the pinnacle of